Hey and welcome back. I think there is a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, timeline. Let me go through it and let me explain, starting with a force of nature, an earth light, will-o'-the-wisp, St. Elmo's fire, pillars of light coming out of the ground, ball lightning. That's all a plasma, and I'm going to be using this word a lot, a plasma effect formed by a force of nature, one that hasn't really been studied that much, and we need to understand more. And then there was a giant increase in UAP observations during World War II. Now, probably because there was a lot more eyeballs in the sky aircraft, and people saw what became known as Foo Fighters. And they were investigated thanks to Winston Churchill, who was particularly interested and worried whether they were Nazi advanced technology. Well, they might just have been, because the Germans, the Nazi Germans, had very high-powered radars long before we knew they had radar, pumping a lot of energy into the sky. And anytime you pump energy and maybe focused energy into our atmosphere, you can change our atmosphere into plasma, which is the fourth state of matter. It's purely a natural form, but to us it's unusual. We don't often see it. I think the most common plasma we see is lightning, and we think of lightning as a bolt of electricity. Well, it's not. It's a bolt of plasma that lets free electrons go to the ground. So it is quite possible that during World War II, Nazi radar systems aiming at aircraft, near aircraft, produced spherical balls of plasma. And that might have been the Foo Fighters, plus natural effects. So that was the first thing in my list, followed by number 2, and that is, they were studied. They were studied a lot. And a report was written called the Condign Report by the British MOD that investigated plasma and asked a question. And the question they asked was, is there a military application for plasma? RAF pilots who witnessed plasma, Foo Fighters, became suddenly distracted, changed course, and there might have been some accidents associated with an encounter, a UAP encounter. So possibly it could be weaponized. Whether it was or not, it was definitely researched, and that's number 3 on my list. British radar research into high energy plasma. This is highly secret, but it probably took place here at Bawdsey Hall, the birthplace of radar. Robert Watson Watt was based at Bawdsey and at Orford Ness, using this building, the Black Beacon, to house some of the most exotic radar equipment. None of this is in the open. All of it is speculation. It's way above my pay grade to know. And in fact, I don't even have a pay grade because I don't work for the military or any government organization. I'm an independent science researcher. But I think something interesting happened next, and that's number 4, and that's the Rundlesham Forest incident. Let's look at some of the facts. Rundlesham Forest is in a Bermuda Triangle between Bawdsey Manor, Martlesham Heath, and Orford Ness. Yuk, right in the middle. The thing that the witnesses definitely saw was a glowing ball of light. Plasma? It is quite possible that it was an exercise into advanced plasma technology, a joint US-UK military exercise. I'm not going to go into the Rundlesham Forest incident in great depth today because I'm working on a really interesting film, which you will see shortly. But it's the next on my list. Followed by Ronald Reagan, SDI, and Star Wars. Now, I put SDI on the list because of the funding that was available. They were looking at all kinds of exotic stuff, even CERN, particle physics, nuclear physics, plasma physics was all part of looking for an advanced defense shield. It was a boom time for specifically military contractors to come up with all kind of weird stuff, possible anti-gravity, everything. The money was there, and plasma research was part of it. So there's a logical step from Foo Fighters, Bawdsey Manor, Rendlesham, SDI to Nimitz. We know that the US Navy and the Pentagon are calling the Nimitz encounters UAP, Unknown Aerial Phenomenon, exactly the same name that stretches all the way back to Winston Churchill, World War II, and Foo Fighters. And that raises an obvious question. Is there a connection between Foo Fighters, plasma, and UAP as seen from the Nimitz encounters? Well, there might just be, because advanced laser-induced plasma visualization, 3D volumetric in space, real RGB objects can now be drawn using laser-induced plasma. You can make a loyal wingman plasma ghost as a countermeasure to attract air-to-air, surface-to-air, heat-seeking missiles that hopefully will go to your ghost aeroplane rather than the real one. And I'm not making this up. You can go to a large defense contractor, you can guess its name, and buy laser-induced plasma countermeasure system. So here's my list again. Is this history lesson of where we are today? The truth is out there.